Well, how's it going, guys and girls? Welcome to another Friday Live at 3 here in the studio. A lot of behind the scenes work got done this week, and Tracy and I are about ready to rip in to that 400EX that's sitting just on the other side of that camera. It's going to be a fun build. We've laid out a shoot for it, a schedule. We'll see how well I can adhere to that, and we're gonna get it done because she's been laying in wait for a long time, longer than I want to admit. I think around 4 to 5 years, something like that. But we're about to get that ball rolling. So what else is going on out in the world? Well, Team PRMX they are in Daytona this weekend. I believe that's also Bike Week, is it not? So that is going to be an unreal event. So if you were anywhere nearby or you're going to it, why don't you go check out the PRMX. It's not just a tent. It is like a little town where they've got the Partzilla team and all the riders. I think they have either 5 or 6 riders. And Mike is going to be there with Kiki and Taylor handing out a whole bunch of swag packs. So swing by, tell them I said hello, and they will set you up. Although no sudden movements around Mike, anything like that kind of startles him, and he's been known to bite. So just be careful around him. Okay. This guy on my desk, we did a run of these things, and I'm not sure how many we had built, individually hand painted, and they've had one on my desk, and they said, well, why don't you carry it in there and see if you can give one of them away? And here's what we'll do. I'll give this one to you, ship it out free of charge if you will send me an email on the Ask Partzilla channel, which is on our website. You go there, and that's going to send an email directly to me. The first person that goes in there and tells me what their favorite video is out of all the ones that we've done over the last almost decade, I'll box this thing up and shoot it out to you. Pretty cool little mascot we've got going on here. So send it to that Ask Partzilla, or is it Ask Partzilla or Ask John? But you go to the homepage, find the Ask Partzilla link, and just send the information. Then I'll get it shipped out to you. All right. Didn't have a lot of time to look at the ones that were sent in this week, but I scanned through them pretty quick, and I think I can guide you in the right direction. Plus, whatever you want to send me while we're doing the actual live event, do so. And if you're watching this after the fact and you have a question, go to our website and send it in there, and I'll lead off with it. I can't remember the person's name because I just read it a few minutes ago. He was asking about the bearing sizing for a Yamaha R6, and I did go into detail on that one. But I'll tell you what I'll do is after this is over, I'll respond back and I'll send you the individual pages out of the Yamaha manual that explain it maybe even better than I did on camera on how to size your bearings correctly. So go check that out, and I will be answering you shortly. All right, let's start off with Francisco F. One question. The rectifier on my GY6 engine burned up. I replaced it with a new one, not the original, and the engine fails on middle range rotation. Not quite sure what that means. A few minutes later, the rectifier fries again. Now I'm concerned about replacing it again without knowing what the problem is. How should I test it? Yeah, it sounds like it's getting overdriven. So what you would need to do is do an AC test to make sure. Well, I'm not familiar enough with the GY6 engine. It just know if it's a single phase or if it's a 3-phase AC generator in there or not. But we want to make sure that if it is 3-phase, that each 3 of those are equal. Because if it's not, and then you're missing a phase or 2, then that is going to overdrive or unbalance the regulator rectifier and burn it up. So that's more than likely what's happening. But if I'm right on this, let us know back, and then I can share it with the rest of the class. I have a 2020 model Kodiak 450. It starts and runs, but it won't turn off. Oh boy. But not always. Sometimes it will. But if it doesn't, you have to disconnect the battery for it actually to do a fully stop. Any ideas? Well, it's definitely going to be your stop circuit. One of 2 things. You should be able to turn off one of two ways. On the handlebar, you've got a run switch. It's actually an off, and then a run in the middle. And then, of course, your key. I would be very curious to know if you do one or the other. Is it every time and it doesn't matter which one you're doing? So chances are it is just the, I bet it's just going to be your start switch or the on switch. I think that is probably hanging up. Another one of those, yep, going to need to go in there, eliminate a possibility, and whatever is left, that's going to be it. Pete Peabody, my Honda 400EX. See, there's another one. I keep telling the multimedia team that one's going to be a winner. Well, the first one we just did maintenance on, it did very well. A lot of views on it. Doing the full rebuild, which we're going to do on that turd, it's going to be a fun one. I mean, looking forward to tearing into that poor sad example of an ATV. We'll do a preliminary, hey, this is how bad this thing is video before we dive into it. Okay, but I'm getting off track. Let's get back to the question. Has a known good battery at 12.78 volts? Yes, but no neutral green light when turning the switch on. Okay, no crank condition. Okay, in this case, where it would be a good place to start? I have a multimeter and a 12-volt test light. You're already halfway there. And speaking of how-to videos, that was one of the first ones that we really tore into. And it's appropriately titled, Help My ATV Won't Start. And that one, I walked through a 400EX showing you how to check the fuses, check the switches, the start, neutral lights, etc. Really, go watch that one, and it'll give you a pretty thorough walkthrough to get you get the problem solved. But without making you go check it out, pull that cover, check your fuses, especially that larger 30 amp. That's going to be your main fuse. After that, make sure your ground on the battery is good, and then start working your way through the switches with that test light and that multimeter, following the power, if there is any. Wherever it's falling off at, there you go. But watch that video. It'll guide you through that process. A lot more I can do in 30 seconds on a live. Dave Garcia, hey John, breaking in a new engine. What if I ran synthetic on the first oil change because I didn't know to run conventional? Not the end of the world. Do I dump it and start with conventional or stay with synthetic? Go ahead and keep what you've got in there, but only run it as depending on which machine that you've got, for as long as I recommend on that video how to break in an engine, or the way I break in an engine. The way I approach it across the board is I don't run it very long on the first oil that's in there, because I just want to basically wash the engine out. It's basically bringing it up to temp, drop it out, refilling it again, then putting a little bit of time on it. And at that point, you go to the synthetic or the semi-synthetic stuff. You're just spending a little bit of extra money up front and maybe not getting quite the friction that you would out of conventional if you're trying to seat a set of rings, but it'll be okay. But no reason to dump it out and start over. No, just go as you were, and then end up with the synthetic. Alan Higgins, what if your bike won't start with a choke on, but runs fine without the choke? That happens a lot, or more often than you think. And you've evidently got a really healthy engine that may be a tad on the lean side as far as its jetting, and are a little on the rich side on its jetting, and that's allowing it to get going without a whole lot of heat being built up inside of the engine, because that's basically what you're combating. And as it heats up, it changes your fuel mixture ratio once you get up to running temp. If anything, you probably could lean it out a little bit and maybe get a little bit more juice out of it. But you didn't tell me your make and model, so it may just be fine like it is. I would do a quick plug read to make sure you're not burning way too much fuel and about to foul out your plug. So maybe take a look at that real quick and maybe back off just a tick on the air fuel mixture. Eric Evans, I have a question about my 2011 Grizzly 550. It has a knock noise on easy acceleration coming from the clutch case housing. Any common failures that I could look for? You've probably got a fair amount of hours on your machine, and especially on the primary sheave, the drive sheave, it has a lot of moving parts in there and a lot of wear happens in there. There's a couple of different components and nylon bushings that it rides the inner or the sheave outer and against the inner part of it. What you're probably hearing is those nylon bits or those wear bits that they're really starting to have some play in there, and that's what you're hearing, it clonk back and forth. We did a build on a Grizzly clutch build, the interior or the sheave and the interior centrifugal clutch on a I can't remember the year, but it was a 700, and it should be very similar to your 550. So take a look at that video and I can walk you through what points to look at, how to get the secondary sheave cleaned out, because it's actually packed with the Ultramatic grease, and get things moving back and forth like they should. And it'll make a huge difference on the way that your machine's, how smoothly it's going to accelerate, engage, and then accelerate. All right, Hank, what do you have that has been sent in today, if anything? Let me get over to the right area. Yeah, we got a few of them in here. Akir 2023 asks, I have a Honda Recon 650 2004, and I'm facing a problem when the engine is cold. The torque will not engage. Like the RPM will go higher, but the quad will not go faster, but it will disappear in 5 minutes. Wow, that sounds like the centrifugal clutch is not engaging like it's supposed to. So my bet is you're probably going to have to go in and rework that. Now, have I done one of those on a Honda and on video? I don't think I have, but I tell you what, Akir, if you send me an email over to the Ask Partzilla, I will print out that section that deals with looking at that centrifugal clutch, and I'll shoot it to you. Preston Horst asks, can a novice replace a YXC head gasket? After troubleshooting every option, it seems to be the final variable causing coolant to spew from the tank. Overheating light does not come on. When you were running this down, did you do a pressure test on the cooling system? And second, are you seeing evidence of exhaust gases or any type of contaminants in the coolant? Just be very sure before you go tearing into it. Now, can a novice replace the head gasket on the YXC? Yeah, but you probably don't want to try to do that in the frame. I mean, I guess that you could. We did a detailed build on our YXZ, or actually our director's operations in the back, his YXZ, and I can walk you through the process. You just need to get to that particular part of the video. The trickiest part on it, in my opinion, is getting the timing set correctly, because it actually, you set it to TDC on cylinder number 2, if memory serves. Hopefully, I'm not confusing that with the Can-Am, because I know it was its own ball of wax as well. But can a novice do it? Yes. But there's one other caveat we have to put in there. If the head gasket went out, why? Typically, a head gasket is going to fail either from erosion or warpage. And if it overheated that one time and warped the head, you put in another head gasket without redecking or resurfacing either the head and or the cylinder, it's just going to do it again. It may not take it long. It may take it a little while, but it's going to do it again, because that that clearance is going to be off, and it's just going to straight through it. Someone make very sure, it sounds like you are, that it needs the head gasket. And then I would go ahead and pull the engine out, pull it all the way down to just, pull the entire top in, take those to a machine shop, the head and the cylinder, and make sure that they are flat, even, not warped. But don't be too afraid of it. It's just a machine. And like I said, I did a detailed build on our turbo engine. So doesn't matter that it's a turbo, that the head goes back together the same way. Stephen New Zealand 1158 asks, hey John, another one. Just started to strip down the 400EX, couple of seized engine bolts. Oh boy. Sure made removing the engine a challenge, but got there. Any tips to remove ball joints from wheel hubs? Thanks. Yes, but it's a kind of expensive one. It's right over in that toolbox, but it is a ball joint. I guess you call it a press that Honda makes, and it is phenomenal. It is a beefy piece of equipment, and I've seen other ball joints or ball joint breakers where they'll constantly slip off. This thing is unbelievable. Tell you what, other than just giving away the bobblehead here, I'll give you my personal one that I have over there in that cabinet. You send me an email with your name and address and shirt size, and I'll get it shipped out to you, because it is a monster. The only thing is, you got to send me a short video of you using it, because I want to see it. I want to see it pop that joint when you use it the first time. So I don't care if you're using your phone or whatever, we'll take it. It doesn't have to be studio quality. Yeah, you send me your name and address, and I'll ship one out to you. My COO is probably going to fire me for this kind of stuff, but hey, y'all have to come to my defense. KZ D1B asks, if I take my crankshaft to the shop and have it polished, do I need to clean it once I start my rebuild? Yes. Even as good as the shop is that I use here in Albany, whenever I bring everything back, I don't just only use, or I try not to use the brake cleaner. Yamaha actually makes a precision parts cleaner spray. That stuff gets it completely clean, because especially when you go to a machine shop, there's a lot going on, and they can't help but get a little bit dirty, and you don't want anything left on, especially your crankshaft surface, when you go to reinstall it. Pay a particular attention to any oil passages. Squirt it in there and then blow it out with compressed air. All right, Hank, you got anything else, or are we done for the day? He's typing. Drum roll, please. Bless you, Tracy. Tracy didn't come in here and play with us. She's busy in the office working. All right, he's telling me wrap. So no more questions. All right, kiddos, y'all are going to let me go home early today. That's good. I don't know if you could hear it, but a gas stove, a new one, just wandered through the studio and got loaded in the back of my truck. So guess what I'm working on tomorrow? All right, kids. Once again, if you're in Daytona, go check out the Team PRMX and hit up both Kiki and Taylor and Mike for any swag that they may be willing to give you. If you can't make it, I'm sure that it will be streaming on the Peacock Network. So go check it out. I think it's going to be a good weekend down there. All right, guys, great questions this week, especially the ones that were sent in. Like I've said before, if you've got any other questions, send them to me via that Ask Partzilla login on the Partzilla.com website, and I'll do my best to get them answered. Once again, guys, thanks for dropping in, spending a little time with us, and we will see. I think we're going to see you next Friday, but we may be in the middle of moving all of this into a new location because it encroaches on my working area. So we may not be live next week, but if not then, we will see the Friday after that, after we've retested all this. Everybody have a great weekend, a great week, and then we'll see you there eventually. Y'all take care.